Hey, what's up? So this is my first video like this. I've been seeing different things in the gym, and basically I just want to tell you what I've been seeing, what I feel is wrong with them, and yeah, just go from there. Hopefully get some discussion started. So for those of you that don't know, I have a sports performance background, but for the last 5 months I've been a personal trainer in Chicago. So anyways, in the gym, I often see trainers and just regular people coming in, not working with trainers, doing these movements where they're basically combining two exercises into one movement. So they'll do a lunge to a bicep curl, or a step up to a shoulder press, a dumbbell shoulder press, something along those lines. So basically, I just want to talk about how absolutely ridiculous this is, in my opinion. So, all right. So here's the thing: is when you especially for especially with trainers, when you're picking exercises for clients, I think you need to look at three main things. First of all, you need to take into consideration three main things. First of all, you need to take into consideration the client's goals. Okay, that's going to determine your sets, your reps, your tempo, duration. That's going to determine a lot. Secondly, you need to take into consideration the client's abilities, their limitations. So the client's limitations, what they can do, what they can't do. What's not allowing them to go, 290 degrees in a squat. What is not allowing them to execute a lunge properly. All these things need to be taken into consideration. Thirdly, you need to, when choosing exercises, I think you need to identify the limiting factor in each exercise. And what I mean by that is what part of the exercise is not allowing the client to progress in that exercise. So progression may be determined by an increase in reps, an increase in weight. Perhaps, if it's a stability-based exercise, decreasing the stability and having the client still be, stable on that surface. Now, sometimes the client's limitations are in itself the limiting factor of each exercise. So sometimes, the limiting. So for instance, for weight, for example, sometimes the client just isn't strong enough to move an assigned weight, and that's the limiting factor of the exercise. So, anyways. But these movements now, where people will do, like I said, a lunge to a biceps curl or a step up to a shoulder press, you're trying to tax two different muscle groups with them, your upper body and a lower body. It can be argued that there's a stability aspect to it, and they're taxing that. Abdominals, the rectus abdominis, with it as well. But here's the thing: is we're just looking at the upper body and lower body. The lunge to the bicep curl, for example, those two muscle groups, the biceps and the quadriceps, the glutes, those muscle groups have dramatically different capacity for power output and for strength output. Or for force output, rather. So why are you using the same weight for them? If you're going to do what I'm saying is, when you're looking at this exercise, one of the limiting factors in this exercise is the strength of the biceps. Unless the client is completely out of whack and their biceps are stronger than their quads and their glutes. But that's the limiting factor. So that is one of the determinants of the weight you can use. Problem is more times than not, that's not sufficiently taxing for the quadriceps and the glutes. So why are you doing a lunge with it? I mean, it's one thing if you're going to use that for a warm-up, to get some blood moving, and just as a total body warm up. But to do it and I see this this is like people's sole form of a quad dominant movement, or they'll do a reverse lunge and it'll be their sole form of a posterior chain movement. Why are you doing something that's not taxing it to its fullest capacity? Now I understand that some people come in and don't want to be taxed to their fullest capacity, but whether they're choosing a weight that is appropriate for the biceps but is so far below what is appropriate for the quadriceps and the glutes in most cases, that they're wasting their time, and trainers are wasting their clients' time, people are wasting their own time, and then they come in and they claim that these movements are time efficient because they combine two of them, and it's so backwards. Or they'll come in, they'll say that they burn more calories because they're doing two movements in one. And it's so backwards. I mean, today, for example, I had a heavy deadlift day, and then I lifted back after that. I lifted for 58 minutes, okay? That included my warm-up and abdominal work at the end. 58 minutes, I burned 1,024 calories in 58 minutes. Over 1,000 calories in under an hour. That's what I burned lifting heavy weights, okay? Low reps, and resting between 1.5 minutes and 3 minutes between each set. So if you can tell me, I haven't done studies, I haven't put a heart rate monitor on myself and compared the two, doing a lunge with submaximal weight, or a weight that is below what would be appropriate for that rep range, and then pair that with a bicep curl, all in one movement, versus doing an appropriate weight for a lunge and then doing an appropriate weight for bicep curls, one right after the other. I haven't compared the two calorie output wise, but my guess is because you're taxing the muscle groups appropriately for both exercising instead of just half the exercise, that your calorie output is going to be higher for the latter, and for the two separate exercises as opposed to combining the two. So, I mean, comment on it, get some discussion started, because I see this and it's so backwards to me, because people are paying their hard-earned money to come in and work with these trainers. I'm not trying to discredit the trainers at my gym. I see this, in many gyms I go to, almost every gym, and you see this in textbooks, and that these exercises are more difficult. And it just doesn't make sense to me. So, if it makes sense to you, please, explain it to me. But that's my opinion. Is I don't get it. Stop doing it. All right, that's what I got for you. Get bigger at that trying.